Humility is the most essential and critical part of everything that you do, and it's a skill that you need to try and implement and practice in your life. It's humility. You have to understand that just as no one is better than you, you're no better than anyone else either. It's to find that. Stop putting people above you and thinking that, first of all, I don't know what's going on with the lighting right now, but stop putting people above you where you believe that they can do so much more than you can, and stop believing that no one else can do as much as you are doing. Stop it. Humility is so essential because humility grounds you. Humility keeps you human. It keeps you in the sense of understanding that you really are no better than anyone else, and it keeps you in respect of everyone else and the work that they are putting in or not putting in, because at the end of the day, it's their decision if they're willing to put in work or not towards their dreams and goals. It's not just that, and this is not just speaking in the aspect of dreams and goals and success. This is talking on a very basic human level. You have to implement humility, because if you do not implement humility, then you overestimate your own abilities and you underestimate everyone else's, and then that ego hurts. And I bet that ego hurts when someone shows that they can do something better than you and you can't take it. And the second that you see that, you start to see them as competition, and you no longer start trying to be better for yourself and to grow your skills and to grow your knowledge, but you're trying to be better than that other person. And that is where you get very mixed up. Humility overall, it keeps you grounded, it keeps you human, it keeps you in sync with what really is important and what's not important. Because at the end of the day, for example, when people have a goal to just be rich, a goal of just being rich, that's a very empty goal, which is why you probably won't achieve wealth. Overall, I have an opinion that money is an energy, as you have to put in work and give out your energy and put out your energy in order to earn it. And it's just a transaction fee. It's just a transaction of energy. That's what it is. And if your first goal is an intention is to look at the things that you would spend that money on before you even had it, why would that money even go to you if your intention is to spend straight away and not to, for example, multiply? But that is its own little thing. But humility genuinely is one of the best things that you can practice, and this was talked about in church today actually, where there was one guy who prayed and looked over at someone. Who was he? I'm pretty sure that he was a tax collector, and he was looking at the tax collector. I'm not too sure. Please check it. And he was looking over at him, and he was thinking to himself, and he was praying to God, saying that, thank you, God, that I'm not like that I'm not this and that and this and that. And he started talking about how he's basically perfect and that he is without sin, that he's not a liar and he's not a thief and all of that. Looking at that guy, whereas that guy was beating himself in the chest and was saying, Lord, forgive me, I'm a sinner, and stuff like that. And then God favored the one that was beating his chest, the tax collector. I'm not too sure, please correct me if I'm wrong. Tax collector that was beating his chest saying that I'm a sinner, he favored him. It's all about being humble, and that you have to understand that you have to see your own faults as well. I just can never emphasize enough, and I don't think I will ever be able to put into words how important humility is, because humility will keep you human, and it will keep you in a space where you are able to truly see life through what it really is and what really is of significant importance. Because, for example, I'm just going to go back to the school because I see so many people just wanting to be rich. And that's why they never become rich. It's because that's what they want. They want the money, and that's such an empty goal. So, going back to the example of wealth and money, cancel that, of being rich in money. A lot of people just want that. However, they don't understand that what really is the value is how you got that money and how you achieved that money, because it usually comes from a lot of hard and smart work. For example, developing a business is not an easy thing to do. It's quite hard because guess what? It takes a lot of thinking, planning, and etc. And not only that, but actually some of the best businesses stemmed from not wanting to grow into a business or not wanting to be a massive billion-dollar company and building a whole brand around it, but they just stemmed from very simple ideas that were never meant to really break out like that. And for example, Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook, his idea when creating Facebook was never, that's a very controversial topic, but his idea was never to go out there and then create a multi-billion-dollar corporation out of it. Amazon and all of these things, you know, they just had an idea, or maybe they didn't have the idea, but there was an idea there, and they just went through with their idea without really looking too far into the future about it. And just so happened that people really liked that product, and it grew organically from there. And so some of the most successful companies don't create all of these plans and crazy projects because they expect to have money or because they want to become rich, and that's not why they, or because they just want to earn money. No, it's that they have an idea that they are willing to do anything for, and they're trying really hard to make it work. And just so happened that people really liked the idea, so they never planned for this to go like this. This just happened by itself because they had a good idea. So how does this tie into being humble? It's not about, for example, the money. Being humble just makes you and emphasizes what really is important. So for example, when you attain that money and all of that, for example, what really is important is the knowledge that you gained throughout that time, and what can I do with this knowledge now? You know that if you lose all that money, you did it once, you can do it again, you can gain it back. Obviously, you can't necessarily reuse the same idea, but yeah, I kind of pushed that idea of humility here, but I just kind of wanted it to tie in with a lot of the content that I already make. But overall, I made several videos about humility because I feel like this is a topic that is very important, specifically in this very egotistical society that we live in nowadays, both from women and men. And so I believe that humility is something that's constantly going down in a downward spiral at this moment, because I feel like we just, when it comes to humility, it really is just, I don't know why people are so against it, almost as if it's a sign of weakness, when I believe that humility is a sign of ultimate strength, because you are able to knock your pride down and then just see things for what they are. And that is that, you know, this is just me, and that's it. And that's what ultimately will keep you respecting not just yourself but other people around you too. So because I believe that ego may work for some time, but ultimately ego will be the absolute downfall of many people. So humility is always going to win.